In this year's Tory leadership election, we have a rare type of candidate and politician. That is Kemi Badenoch. Not just because she says that she tells the truth, but actually she brings up certain debates and topics that you normally don't if you're an establishment type of Tory politician. For example, she talks about migration and the problems with it. But she doesn't just talk about illegal migration or the small boats coming from France. She's firstly talking about even illegal routes from different ways, but actually also mass legal migration that is causing trouble in this country. And of course, the new liberals will come and say, well, it's always good for GDP. Short term, yes. But, if you don't really have space, we are just using a small percentage of the land, but we're not building, of course, on it. We don't really have the capacity in terms of the infrastructure, public services, schools, hospitals, and everything else. Then we have to talk about what's going on. This is the problem when it comes to housing. Some people say, well, bring up, do more house building. And some say, well, just end all migration. Well, there's a bit of a problem. Even if you finish all migration, just stop everything. Then, as Kemi says, there's a problem in terms of on societal level, the culture is going down. She says, we need to recognize that pressure on housing comes from increased migration and from families breaking up. Solving these interlinked questions need honesty and rigor. Exactly. When you have families breaking up, when you have teenagers, 15, getting close to 16, run away from their home or just leave, and then they want a house. They either get into a waiting list because they can't afford a home. And then on top of that, you have the France's migrants coming in via boats. We send them to 5-star hotels and we give them housing. And there are a lot of people still waiting in the waiting list. And this creates a big problem, not just social housing, but actual the private homes as well. Now, Kemi continues by saying that we need to consider the demand side of housing, not just the supply side. People rightly recognize that building more homes while doing nothing to bring immigration down is like running up the down escalator. Yeah, absolutely spot on, Kemi. Someone has to say it. Someone needs to be brave enough to talk about these things in the political system. There are not many people like Kemi Badenoch who are doing this. And some people say, well, it's easy for her. She's the outsider. She's the underdog. So got nothing to lose. But my argument is that the so-called higher-rated politicians, the ones who are doing better in the polls and even in this leadership election, well, I expect them to be brave enough to talk about these things. So that Kemi doesn't have to do it. But we can't really trust them, can we? So we need more people like Kemi Badenoch, even if she doesn't win, which is obviously unlikely that she will win. We need more of them to keep trying, keep pushing inside the system, because we're doing it from the outside the tent. Someone needs to do it from inside the tent. And this is going to be the next big battle when it comes to the cultural side of politics in this country in terms of the long-term planning. If you're going to end up with someone like Liz Truss, she has her flaws. If you're going to end up with someone like Penny Mordaunt, yeah, that's going to be problematic. And Rishi Sunak, don't get me started with that. And if you're going to end up with, again, the new centrist Blairite, well, he looks like it, but I don't think he is, Tom Tugendhat. To be fair, at this point, he might just withdraw from the race before tonight's election. So that reminds me, tonight, just before 8 p.m., minutes before 8 p.m., we will be doing the live stream, a live show to actually give you guys the result of the Tory leadership election race round 3. So the result will come out at 8 p.m. So subscribe to the channel, click on a bell. I'm going to do a scheduled live stream, so you might pop up at some point throughout the day. Then click on the bell next to it to get notified. I know even if you click on a bell, sometimes you don't get notified, but that's the best thing we can do. So subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi and we are the media.